quarterback.
Oh, there's a goal.
This has been the year where a lot of precious memes have died, but some grow ever stronger. The legend of the derp is a thriving specimen. Mix in total annihilation at the hands of an Eagles team eager to make an example of someone, the wasted talent of Saquon Barkley, and the cutting of a certain turnstile that will not be named help to bring this pot to a boil. The seasoning for this wondrous feast of derp will be the salt of Odell Beckham, who has seen what Antonio Brown has been doing and decides he wants to be the best in that regard as well. One of these days, the Giants will realize that Eli Manning should have been retired to pasture years ago, but the G-men still need to pretend that they are playoff contenders. In some Connecticut middle school, Ben McAdoo is pleasuring himself to his correct assumption on the Derp Master. The ride never ends, boys. Never. The good news for the Vikings is that they're facing the Cardinals, so all they had to do was maintain some semblance of a pulse and they'd be fine. It was kind of looking scary for the Skull Army in the first half, but then Kirk Cousins put his bitterness against the Redskins into overdrive and led Minnesota to victory. At this rate, I just feel bad for guys like David Johnson and Fitz. They deserve to be on real teams, not this trash heap that gets overcome by Latavius Murray. Jesus Christ. Was anyone still thinking that bringing John Gruden back was a good decision? If there were a few souls that thought this, that optimism was brought out back and burned alive by means of discarded jet fuel. In no surprise to the watchful football eye, the Raiders looked like shit, played like shit, and they can only boast they got their asses kicked on another continent. When your old kicker in the hefty lefty outscored the entire team, that is worthy of opening some of the finest scotch of laughter to consume. Just like most drives that weren't pissed away by Derek Carr, the Raiders are punting away their team by looking to trade Amari Cooper. Fucking really, guys? You think giving away your best offensive talent is going to erase the stink of the Khalil Mack situation? Welcome back to the Gong Show. For Seattle, though, their victory comes with a bitter sting as their owner Paul Allen fell to cancer. A year of transition is further emphasized with his death. It's too bad. He was an owner that cared about the Hawks and helped them to become relevant in the NFL landscape, saving them from the abyss when no one else cared. The football gods light a candle in his honor. The Diamond Dogs take their Globetrotter tour to Cleveland, where an expected tight matchup was blown apart and Fulton extracted to Mother Base. Throughout the day, the Browns were once again relegated to the factory of sadness. Melvin Gordon was the weapon of choice this week as the Chargers get revenge for the Christmas Day humiliation back in 2016. They even made all of their field goals a stunning revelation. This victory is a solemn one, however. Their big boss is dead. There will be no fucking of Spanos today. Alex is not responsible for the idiocy and short-sightedness of his son. His heart seemed like it was in the right place, despite age taking him down. Take care of him, football gods. Speaking of dead things, let's look at the Indianapolis Colts. The only thing keeping this team competitive is the zombified corpse of Andrew Luck willing a bunch of dead weight around the field. People think that Aaron Rodgers is a wasted talent. They aren't looking at what's happening with this flyover team. In this game against the Jets, Luck did everything in his power to win. The problem is that no one else chose to help him out. Sam Darnold lit up that pathetic Colts D like a Christmas tree. He single-handedly made generations of Giants fans bitter that their team chose the quick fix in Barkley instead of him. Although I must make a disclaimer, it's pretty damn easy to torch guys like Mike Mitchell. 31 other NFL teams praise the gods that he is not on theirs. Last we checked in on the Bills, the Buffalo Optimism Meter was reintroduced at, let's say, 20%. They held on for victory at home last week and are facing another team with glaring flaws. So far, the result of this game has been more offensive ineptitude. Despite the Texans continuing to trip over themselves like a toddler and the defense doing their part, the Bills can't do anything of note besides a few field goals. When you think it can't get worse, Josh Allen gets injured. Enter the return of Petermeme. He bumbles around to give Buffalo the lead. What the hell? Am I seeing reality? The Bills might win it. Oh my glorious God.
Petermeme picked off! Joseph! And he will go!
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Better luck next time, Buffalo! Who knew that this matchup would be for the bragging rights to hold fort in the basement of the NFC South? This game treated defense like Europe does anymore. Open borders. The offense is at free reign for the entirety of the match. Spirals thrown and points scored without any sort of resistance. The major difference here was in the quarterbacks. Matt Ryan was efficient and precise. Famous Jameis has shown he hasn't progressed worth a damn and is still such a turnover machine that it would make a bakery envious. The Buccaneers marched for over 500 yards of total offense and still lost. Soak that in for a bit. Remember when the Bucs were 2-0? You're yearning for those times, aren't you? Mike Smith is somehow still lingering in the NFL. Let's patch up this little glitch, shall we? The Panthers can capitalize on both two battered rivals and another on a bye week. They're playing what is likely soft prey in the Redskins. Unfortunately, the Redskins anymore are, to quote a better individual, like an advent calendar. You never know what the fuck you're gonna get with each passing day. Today's edition of Washington comes with an Adrian Peterson as spry as ever pouncing on defenders with speed and agility. The Panthers were too busy pissing themselves to gain any sort of composure until it was too late. By that point, the Redskins locked it down and are now boasting themselves as the class of the NFC East again. Carolina face-planted so hard that New Orleans is bursting into laughter in unison. You know how it is, they dogpile on each other's misery down there. Oh god, you can't be fucking serious. The Dolphins are starting Brock Osweiler! The game is so far going as everyone expects it to. Brock Osweiler is playing like shit and the Bears have the lead. It doesn't matter that the offense can't convert into premium results. You're playing Osweiler. This shouldn't be hard. This is when that vaunted front seven of the Bears can't do anything against Osweiler or an offensive line injured to shit and the Dolphins tie the game up. Throughout the Windy City, panic and uncertainty begin to set in. How the fuck are they choking up like this? Why are the Dolphins marching against that D? Why are they on the goddamn 1 yard line? Miami then realizes they have narratives to maintain and choke everything to shit on the fucking 1 yard line. What a shocker, the Dolphins are going to blow it now. What higher power can fuck this up for the Bears? How many times are these teams going to try to lose this game? Can we somehow give both of these teams losses? Neither deserve to win this shitfest. Oh lord, another field goal try. I pray he misses, a tie would be fitting. Congratulations, Dolphins, you failed less than the Bears today. Take this undeserved win and get the fuck out of my face. In Greek mythology, the Titans were cast off of their mighty throne and exiled to the depths of Hades. This is an accurate representation of what happened to them against the Ravens. The score deceives the viewer. This game was outright domination to the point where Tennessee considered seceding from the Union again. Only then could such slavery be tolerated. Marcus Mariota was repeatedly pounded and deflowered by means of the stadium turf. 11 times. What the hell is an offensive line anyway? It must have been lost along with the Titans' dignity. You may get it back in maybe 3 weeks. Maybe. I was expecting a massacre and what I got was a massacre. On the opposite side of the pendulum. Fucking Saxonville, the boastful haughty bunch of hotshots that shitpost to oblivion turned into a lol cow of its own. They were served medium rare at a Dallas steakhouse. The Cowboys that had looked like toxic sludge with the ball for the majority of the year. You would think this game happened 2 years ago with this score. You made Dak Prescott look relevant again. Do you know how bad that looks, guys? Hold up, we can't mention that because Blake Bortles once again can't throw a football accurately and is returning to being a meme. You guys need Fournette back and you need him back now. At least with the Chiefs you could excuse it, but to this? Do we talk about the Eric Flowers curse now? The game that I anticipated turning into an outright annihilation surprisingly did not turn out to be as expected. This matchup was more of a defensive battle. Well, when Case Keenum wasn't being mediocre and shooting his team's ambitions in the knee. Both knees, actually. Any chance at upending an undefeated team was undone by that and being unable to stop Todd Gurley. Don't feel bad about that, not many teams can. The issue here is that the Broncos are experiencing Groundhog Day. The same situation happened last year. Go off to a strong start, then lose 4 consecutive games. In Vance Joseph's mind, only one thing is happening. Hey guys, you want to do my job for me? I didn't lose the locker room, I swear! For a so-called clash of powers, it certainly didn't disappoint. 2 high-powered offenses combined with 2 suspect defenses leads to one of the most spectacular gun shows that the state of Massachusetts will ever see. Pat Mahomes was kinda looking suspect for a hot minute, but then he sped to Mach 5 and matched Brady's prowess in picking apart the defense. These sort of matches aren't good for sports ball, but they do make for some damn good football watching. The game went neck and neck deep into the night, but like in January, New England came out on top, ending the Chiefs' undefeated season. Can we just take away Miami's win and give it to the Chiefs? They deserved it a hell of a lot more than the Dolphins did. What to think of this game? Well, how about this for starters? San Fran was injured to absolute shit and starting the equivalent of a Division I college football team for the most part. The game was in the hallowed tundra of Lambeau. Everything was on the Packers' side. And they still found a way to play like ass. For the majority of the game, everything was completely out of sync. The defense bent. A lot. But more surprisingly, Aaron Rodgers just looked off. An embarrassing defeat was inbound. It's only a matter of time before Rodgers pulls out some bullshit and bails out the Packers for the 50th time in his career. Oh look, there it is. Am I supposed to applaud you guys or something? Good job, you kicked the amputee when he tried his hardest to get to the top. You've been carried so far by Rodgers that you think he was Atlas holding the world. Leading these scrubs and Mike McCarthy to relevance is his eternal punishment. The football only gets heavier with time. At least Mason Crosby got revenge or something like that. And now, a moment of silence for all those we've lost over the past week.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
The football gods show no mercy. Amen.
At the 1 yard line. Smith. Tremont Smith. Oh, good run back. Smith staying in bounds. And Tremont Smith is going to take this one all the way inside the 5 yard line.